I'm ready.
Questions, anyone?
It's awful loud.
Salamo Fiso, just how would you evaluate his performance over the first 4 games?
It's funny that you asked that. I just got out of a team meeting earlier where I talked about just how exceptional he's playing. He's really matured, and I would tell you too, Doug. I think he's a leader amongst that group of guys. I mean, he really is just he's got a wealth of experience and knowledge, and playing extremely well. I would tell you he's playing at a very, very high level, and really proud of him. And I think his maturity has been impressive. I'm really proud of him, and he continues to get better every week. He played, every week he's played better and better and better, and he's had by far his best games this year. So he's playing at a high level.
Coach, 2 years ago, you led the conference plus 15 turnover margin, plus 14 last year. This year, minus 3. You touched on it after the game. Is there something that you can put your finger on there?
Yeah, from getting turnovers, it's obviously difficult. Some of the teams we played, the triple option teams it tends to be a little bit more difficult because they don't throw the ball. So the teams that don't throw the ball, makes it a little more difficult. But I feel good about how we've gotten takeaways defensively. I don't think we've, fallen off any there. I think it more to do with the opponent. And that's the biggest thing. There's not much to talk about. I mean, I went and looked at the film, and, we are self-destructing, turning the football over. You can go down all the stats and look at all the stats. I mean, they're going to have. I mean, we had a critical error on defense that we left the tailback uncovered. Jordan, we got ran by the first play, but we got him down and we got an interception and they got no points. So obviously, lots of positive things. But the biggest thing that is happening, a matter of fact, I thought we did a lot of really good things. But just turning the football over was the one that just sticks out to you. I mean, they had a punt return where we should have got him down, but they get out on that and they get no points. We get a takeaway on that one. Kareem Orr, we got 2 true freshmen starting on defense, and those guys are playing at an extremely high level. Our guys, the character that our guys have, obviously, we're disappointed. It reminded me of last year's UCLA game right before the half. I mean, we self-destructed with takeaways and making poor decisions, and but at the end of the day, we can get those things corrected. But there's not much to say other than we need to go get it done. We've got to get it done. We got to play disciplined football, take care of the football. Obviously, not have critical errors, and everybody do their job. And over the last several years, we've had those situations. I remember the Oregon game, our first year. We were 5-1 and just self-destructed, turned the football over, and took us 4 weeks to come out of that, and wound up winning the last 3 games of the year, and everybody's excited. And then I remember the Stanford game. Great illustration. This is what a kind of a talking point I had with our team today, because really, I want to come in here and just say, you know what, we're disappointed. No, our fans are disappointed. That's not, we can't beat ourselves like that by turning the football over and making bad decisions to do it, especially in special teams. But simply put, we just need to get it done, and we take care of the football, and that's a different football game. And but you don't get to do that; it doesn't matter. So I remember going to Stanford, getting blown out. I mean, blown out. I remember our quarterback being sacked probably a record pace, and we came back the very next week and put 62 on USC. So the biggest thing is no questioning, no doubt in what we're doing. We don't doubt each other. These kids believe in each other and respond like the teams before you have. The first year it took us 4 games to respond, and the last 2 years we responded the next week. Obviously, the week after last year, having a very, very disappointing game to me and to our fans and everybody was UCLA. We come back the next week and had the Hail Mary game. And guess what? That wasn't easy. That was extremely hard. That was an extremely difficult game. And so we need to have a similar response. We've got a similar challenge. This is a very, very well-coached football team. a very a veteran football team, and very explosive at wide receiver, very similar in regards. The difference is offensively, these guys can run the ball. Perkins is nothing but great things to say about that young man. I mean, he is, you can tell, high character guy, physically tough, going to make you tackle him. So their running backs are really solid core, and their receiving core is extremely fast and dangerous. So very similar plan. We got to keep it in front of us and those type things, and then we got to stop the run. So the key for us is just we got to take care of the ball, 100% ball security, and then we got to do our job, and we got to get we got to respond the way that we know our guys can. I believe in our guys. I believe in what we're doing. Like I said, I know it's disappointing. I was very disappointed that we self-destructed that way, and we're going to work, and we've had positive meetings, and we need to go respond.
Coach, is it a good thing that maybe Saturday you're going on the road with a chance for the team to galvanize itself and go out on the national stage and prove and to show what team it is?
That's the Pac-12 conference. Every week you get to do that. I mean, I'm not going to tell you that I would rather play at home. I mean, obviously our guys know that our backs are against the wall, and every issue we have is self-inflicted, and we just got to get those things corrected and take it upon ourselves to go to work and get it done. And it's great. In the Pac-12 conference, you're gonna have an opportunity every week because you're gonna play. You look around the conference. I mean, we ain't the only one that had a difficult weekend. I mean, every weekend it's like that. And there's times that we beat people like that, and people have beat us like that. And usually it's self-inflicted. And guess what? That the self-inflicted wounds count. So. But I'll tell you this, our guys, the character of our guys, the belief that our guys have in each other and what we're doing, we know we've got to go on the road. We've got to get it done. And it's, obviously you got a great stage to do it on.
Todd, you mentioned Perkins earlier. David Shaw said a couple of weeks ago that he's one of those guys that seems to fly under the radar.
Yeah, I don't know why either, because he's really, really good. I mean, there's not anybody that I would rank in front of him. I mean, I think that the USC's running back core, top to bottom, is probably, it's hard to say anybody's better than that whole group, but I can tell you that UCLA's is right up there with them, and I think Perkins, just to this point, has been playing at an MVP caliber, in the league. And this is just as from, as far as this football team, they're playing extremely well. They're undefeated, obviously, at the top of our conference, and we got to go on the road, play our best game to get it done. But he's the real deal.
What makes him effective?
Obviously you can't be as strong as he is without he's a guy that probably has impeccable training habits. I mean, he is just physically strong, great balance, keeps his pads down, doesn't put the ball in jeopardy. He is just as solid as they get. And so what makes him, I think, is his balance, his vision, and his strength. He's just a guy that is really strong. He breaks a lot of first tackles.
I'm speaking of the UCLA running game. I know the trade-off maybe in the USC game was them having so much success in the air versus the ground, but did you take away a lot of positives from the run defense from last week that you think can be applied to this week?
Yeah, we talked about that because, people had said, you worried about your rush defense, and I'm not. I think that's a strong point for us. I think that we did a pretty solid job, stopping the run. The problem is giving up, we gave up an 80-yard cheap touchdown, play, and then we gave up 14 points in kicking game and turnovers on offense. So, I feel exactly how I did before the game. You play the triple option, they run it every down, it dilutes your stats. So I don't really worry about the stats. I know that we have we're strong up front, and we have a strong rush defense, and we better because UCLA is very, very well coached. They make it very difficult for you because they spread the field. You got to also deal with the receivers. And how they go about doing that is they're just a different structure in how they do it, and it's a challenge. But you have to stop the run, and then you can't give up cheap ones. It's just like that would be a broken record in this league. Every week, that's who you're going to face. But these guys have been, at the top of the conference. In my opinion, offensively, been one of the best over the last 3 years I've been here. They've been probably one of the toughest to defend and do a really, really good job of coaching their offense.
Coach, how do you feel Kalen Balaj performed on Saturday coming back from the illness, and what is his workload going to be like moving forward?
Obviously, just getting back and playing condition and all that. I thought he did a really good job, made some good runs. Obviously, fatigued pretty quickly, and wasn't able to get as many snaps as we'd like. And so we're hoping to increase that as we move forward. But he wasn't able to do anything for a couple of weeks, and that's hard to get back into playing shape. So I thought obviously he's a guy that we played him on every special team. He's such a great athlete, and then I thought he did a solid job.
As far as your defensive line goes, are you generating enough pressure with that first group up front?
Oh, I don't know if you ever generate enough pressure. I mean, I thought we. There was one play where the quarterback scrambled like 17 yards. I mean, we were matched up man. We covered everybody, and I hadn't seen him pull the ball down and run. He sure did, and he made a great decision. But I think we're controlling the line. Up to this point, our guys have really done an unbelievable job in the run game. We got to continue to get better with our pass rush, our 4-man rush. I'd say that'd be a good assessment.
In weeks leading up to USC, you mentioned wanting to play faster on offense, and then after USC, you talked about you guys were huddling and maybe wanting to keep the possessions
it was just
limited.
in that game.
Can you expand on?
Yeah, I mean, it was just in that game. I just, I thought whatever we got to do to win games, that's what we're going to do. And I thought the formula that we needed to win that game was to have 80 plus plays on offense and play 65 or less on defense, and that's what we actually did. But we're a tempo team and a team that believes in that. But also you got to be if you're not executing, it doesn't do you any good to go fast. So we modified a little bit there, and I thought it helped just kind of gauge our guys a little bit, and then we varied the tempos. We did mostly, we would hurry and go fast and vary the tempo. So it was just a plan for that game, and it had a lot to do with the explosiveness of the players they had on offense, and as well as we were trying not to kick the ball to the returner, because you're not going similar this week. They got great returners. I think obviously Dory's there's not any better than him.
Todd, you and Coach Mora came in at the same time. Can you just talk about some of what's changed in the conference and how competitive?
I think it's gotten a lot more competitive. I mean, I just obviously the level of player that's in this league, you can look and see the success the guys are having as they leave this league, and just every team. I mean, top to bottom. I think just looking in the South Division. Colorado, Utah, every team in our league, Arizona, Arizona State, UCLA, and USC. I think you can look at all those teams, and I think they've all gotten better over the last 3 years that I've been in the league. Obviously, the level of player, the talent is pretty special, and then just the schemes. The schematics in our league is so diverse as far as what you have to defend each week. It's the toughest thing to do, is to be able to, defend, play defense in the Pac-12 conference. I think it's pretty challenging. And you see that. I mean, you see the improvement. I mean, look at Utah. I mean, go into Oregon and win 62-20. I mean, that's, and you look at all those games, it's just the margin for error is very small. And because the offenses are so explosive, if you have 2 or 3 turnovers, we had 4 turnovers resulted in 28 points, and that tilts it in a hurry. Again, in a game like that, so you'll see those things. Sometimes it'll look surprising, but that's kind of how our league is very, very explosive, and the dynamic of the offenses are big challenge as well as the kicking game. Yeah, I think you have to. I think I've seen, obviously, in the last 3 years, you see all programs are investing in their program. I think you have to do that. They're investing in a lot of ways. Obviously building facilities and doing those type of things, but building staffs and programs and I think the coaching in this league is really good. I think that's improved.
Coach, I want to get your thoughts on the new uniforms being unveiled, and is the timing good with the team kind of playing maybe not up to expectations?
That's news to me. I didn't even know we're unveiling a new uniform. I think that's great. Our players like that, our fans like that, and I'm focused on getting better and winning football games.
Todd kind of flew under the radar the other night, but Gary Chambers had his first 100-yard receiving game. Can you talk about him, and can he be an emerging playmaker for you?
Well, Gary's been very, very steady and consistent. I always tell people when people talk about, the Jail Mary deal, his catch was pretty critical right before that. And Gary's a great story, just a great young man, works his tail off, has really worked his way into the lineup in the last 2 years, and has done a solid job. And he's really, a guy that's improved over the last few weeks, and I think it's critical that he continues to do that to help us generate offense.
Todd, you mentioned JoJo earlier. Where has he progressed since he started practicing a few months ago?
Just knowledge. He is a great talent, great young man, great character. Just, for it to kind of playing as a freshman is kind of like going out and standing in the middle of the 101. Things are just flying by 100 miles an hour, and you're trying to figure it out. And I think the game has started to slow down for him a little bit. And I've seen him; he's making plays, he's playing with some emotion, and he's one of the neatest kids we have. I really he's got I remember doing his home visit with his grandfather and his family. Really a neat kid, and I just think it's hard to come here in the middle of June and don't get to practice till the 6th of August and start playing at this level, and that's just phenomenal. I think how he's been able to do that, and but it's just knowledge. He has an understanding of what he's doing. He's still got a lot to learn, but it's slowing down for him a little bit. He's playing better and better and better. Thanks, Coach. Okay.